Hey there. I wanted to jump on and talk about the Michael Valva case. I've had a few people who've asked me to discuss it in a little more detail. I know that my friend Duty Ron did cover it, so I wanted to just chat about it in terms of some of the other details about it. So the couple things that I want to share right away are that on January 17th, the police were summoned to the Volvo residence, and little Thomas he was 8 years old. He was found barely alive. His body temperature was 79 degrees, and they called him a tiny victim. I mean, this is just such a shocking case. So I'm going to take a moment, say hi to people, and then come back. So Lonnie, I sent you a message. Call me after this, okay? Give me a call because you have my number. So hi, girl. Let's see, Chrissy, Ronnie. Wow, good to see you. Chronically Ronnie, Misha Molina, Black Rose, yay, Cruise Boston. Melissa, good to see you. Olive Joy, what's up? Okay, so I'm going to okay, awesome, thank you. Yeah, just text me, Lonnie. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is the Valva case. I know I started with it a little bit. A number of people have been messaging me and asking me to talk about it. I'm just going to take this off for a second. And asking me to talk about it. And as I mentioned, many of you know my friend Duty Ron. He did talk about it. And I don't always like to overlap on certain cases, but I want to talk about some of the different things that I've been picking up on. You know, I just need to say this up front, and this is the thing that I know you guys will get. This is the story of, they call him a police officer. He's a corrections officer, this is really a case of a man who took these two boys in. These are his children, okay? His vicious hatred of, I'm gonna say that this is a vicious hatred of the mother. Because you know what? Nobody can hate little children, sweet little children. And I want to say sweet because here's the story for those of you that don't know. All right, a couple of things I want to say up front. First of all, this started back around 2016, 2017. I think it was about 2016 when the mother, Justina, lost her parental rights. Nobody will tell us anything about that. It's kind of like a hush-hush thing. The children went over to Michael Valva and his paramour, as they say, and her, Melina, I think her name is Paulina, another crazy. I've got to share with you the text between these two. Okay, this is the kind of stuff that, like, it's the kind of stuff that gets me so sick. And I think this is the thing of, like, why when I looked at the channel stuff and I looked at 33 videos I did on the Watts case, this is the kind of stuff that I so don't want to see happen. These were two beautiful little boys. One is still alive. Anthony's still alive. Both Anthony and Thomas were put in the garage because it started with Anthony because he wet his bed. And they put they put both of these children in the garage, 19 degrees. Anthony, in fact, it started with Anthony. Anthony would go to school his clothes soaked in urine. They didn't even bother to change him. There was no bathroom in the garage, which I'm going to share with you the parts of a text between the lovely Michael Valva and his wonderful Paulina. I'm just going to call her Poison. Paulina, okay, so she said they had a video. Check this out. They had a video of Thomas in the garage, okay? Paulina sent the clip of the video to Michael Valva, right? Messaged him and asked if Thomas was going to stay home the next day, stay home from school the next day. And this is what Valva said, quote, "I have zero clothing for him. F-U-C-K, the piece of S-H-I-T, Thomas. He's not going anywhere. Quote, Valvas texted this according to the prosecutors. Oh, 10 minutes later, this made me want, I'm telling you guys, I wanted to throw up. 10 minutes later, he seemed to poke fun at the trembling boy. Quote, geez, it seems like he has to go. Too bad he doesn't have a bathroom, end quote, Valva texted. There was no bathroom in the garage. In response, Polina allegedly wrote, seriously, if only he had a bathroom. And in response, Polina's lawyer is saying she's maintaining her innocence, especially regarding Tommy's murder. I'm sorry, video, like texts? Well, what's next? And yes, Cruz Boston just mentioned this. You know, listen, the little boy had some autism. It's not clear how much because he was not sent to a special school. So I'm assuming he might be a little slow or what have you. Oh, Black Rose, she said, Tori, you were right about my health concern. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Just so you know, my moderators are just like amazing women. And Chrissy, yeah. Duty Ron is one of my buddies. He is just the best ever. Okay. I know Lonnie, I don't know if I should say Lonnie or Lonnie, but I'm going to say, okay, Lonnie. You're Lonnie for now. Yeah, I'm sick to my stomach too. Okay, so this is actually true. Anthony was coming to school soaked in urine. His clothing stunk. In fact, there was a day that Thomas also came to school, and this apparently was ongoing. Thomas was so full of urine on his clothes and soaked in it that his shoes were squeaking from the urine. I don't even know what to say here. I really don't know what to say. And when I say that, it makes me so sick because the truth is, you know, I don't know why the mom lost the kids, but all I can say is that there were too many people that were reporting this and that were just ignored. So let me tell you, the nanny, the babysitter, she talked to a detective and it never went anywhere. So what I'm wondering, yeah, the teachers didn't report it either, Jenny. And this is the thing. There was no report from the teachers. And this guy, this charmer, okay, Michael Valva, what a charmer. Real Romeo, by the way. He was a corrections officer. So he is guarding the most hateful criminals, right? I mean, look, I don't want to minimize that job. But I mean, here's a guy that if he's doing, I want you to, okay, I need you to just get this. If he's doing this to his 8 and 9-year-old sons, right? What's he doing on the job? You know, I'll tell you something. This is the thing, is that I get that prisoners should be like, you know, they're not there to have fun. But at the end of the day, aren't we supposed to be rehabbing this? I mean, aren't we supposed to be doing something? But instead, look at what he's doing to these boys. Now, here's the thing I want to say. Obviously, Thomas is deceased. And I want to talk about the timeline. But one of the things I really want to get to is this is why these boys will grow up, commit crimes, end up in jail and in prison. And why? Because the system failed them. And I want to really just say this. This makes me super sick, you guys. I really have to say this, that and they give it all sorts of initials, right? So it's kind of CFMS. I was like, what is that? New York State Office of Children and Family Services. Okay, can I just say this? I know they're understaffed and underfunded, all right? How long have you and I been alive that we know this, right? And I just need to say, how long do I have to feel sorry for the people doing those jobs when nothing's really changing? You know, this is the thing that gets me so annoyed and so angry, is that I know we all go, you know, they're doing the best they can. I'll never forget. You know, I had just talked in a meeting, it was years ago, about, and my mom was not the best mom, and just about some child abuse that I endured. And I was talking about that, and, you know, she had taken a metal the old days, you know, the metal ice thing, and slammed me across the head. She's lucky. I was very lucky because she kind of missed my head a little. But the reason I'm sharing this is because I took her down, okay? And I was only 15, all right? But what I want to say, and the reason I'm saying this is that, and that wasn't something I'm proud of. I need to just underline that. I'm not proud of that experience. But, you know, I don't understand. When I shared that, somebody came up to me and said, you know, your mom did do the best she could. And I remember looking at him and going, and I was only 15 at the time, and this was an adult. And I said, shame on you. And he's like, what? I said, shame on you. And I said, she didn't do the best she could, because if she was doing the best she could, she wouldn't have hit me in the head with an ice tray. And he was like, well, I'm sure. I said, you know what? Don't comment. Just shh. You know, just shh. Don't say anything. I didn't say shh. I said, just don't say anything. Okay. The reality is that, you know, adults want to look at it like, oh, it's not that bad, to make you feel better. Well, guess what? Those children, according to the housekeeper, I'm telling you, this is according to the babysitter, okay? These poor children were meant to sit there for hours as the parents yelled and screamed. Oh, do you know what their one of their big punishments was? When the boys first came to live with them, they refused to call Paulina mommy. Is that what? Yeah, her name, mommy. They refused to call her mommy, and so he punished them by beating them. You know, I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's almost like you kind of want to go, who let these people reproduce? I mean, it's just, ugh. And here's the thing I want to say, you know, and at the end of the day, you know, I've come to terms with a lot of the things about my past, and I've recognized, you know, how I've grown, and, you know, I don't sit here resenting my mother. I mean, and I know that there are some people who are in that place, and I honor that. It's their thing. Okay. But I want to say that, why is this happening 60 years later? I mean, it's still happening. This hasn't changed at all. Why are so many children falling through the cracks? And here's what I want to say, all right? And I'm getting truth bumps as I say this to all of you. You know, we have here in Asheville, and I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and one thing I want to say, we have something here which is called the Court Advocates, right? And this really has inspired me. I think I'm going to go join it. And basically, they bring civilians in, and we sit around and we discuss a case with the judge. And our experience can be growing up with alcoholism. It can be just civilians. We're not like experts in any field. And I'm like, you know, why don't they have that in children's services? Even if it's just volunteers that go and bring a teddy bear to the child. I mean, it can just be, hey, we're just stopping by. You know, we understand, you know, anytime there's been, you know, any kind of accusation, we know it's not true. We just want to bring the child, you know, like something where a volunteer can go and just visit. Like, I know for me, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but I certainly wouldn't mind going to a home and saying, hey, I'm a volunteer, and I wanted to bring some healthy snacks and some, you know, I don't know, a teddy bear for your child. Are they around? Can I spend 10 minutes with them? I just go back and I just report how great everything is. That's it, right? How hard is it to really start some kind of volunteer program, right? I mean, I think that's the point, is that, you know, where if we are failing these children, and I mean this in all sincerity, if we are consistently like failing these children, right? There are hundreds and thousands of us. I don't know about you. Wouldn't you volunteer? I would volunteer. I would go out, like, and you know, they maybe do it with a big guy and a girl, and we go out as a team and we just go visit. And they know, these people know, hey, there's been a report, so we've just got some volunteers coming by and saying hello. You know? Well, I don't get it. Like, why is it that we are not addressing this? What? And you guys know what I mean. This has been going on for years and years and years. And people are like, oh yeah, they're understaffed. And see, that goes back to the guy coming up to me and saying, your mom did the best she could. And I know she did. And I understand they're understaffed. And I understand that the people that are working there are understaffed. Why don't we overstaff them? I mean, seriously, I know, right? Allie just said I would totally do that. And that would make too much sense to have a program like that. Oh, yeah, you're right. But you see, this is the thing. And Amelia just said this. Thank you, Amelia. Blessings. She just said, as a teacher, I always turn over concerns, sometimes revealed in a student's essay. Thank you. You know what? The thing is, we've got, I just want to cry. I just want to cry and scream about these two boys because, in my heart of hearts, I mean, I would give anything to be a foster parent to some lovely children like that. I'd be like, yeah, come on down. But you know what? It's like they don't want me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's like, no, you're single, you're too old, you're whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, But I mean, how many of us would, just, I mean, these boys were starved. They were dumpster diving for food at school. The teachers would secretly give them clothing because they didn't want the parent and whatever that woman was. I'm telling you, I just want to go in and I'm telling you, I want to hit them. You know what I mean? Don't you ever feel like, what are these people like? Why do this to a 10-year-old? And let's go. Okay, so now I've gotten that out. Here's a couple things I want to say about that. He was a corrections officer. We know Michael Valva was a correction officer. Margot, good to see you. Let's see. He starved them and locked them in the garage. Oh, check this out. Do you know what? Okay, I want y'all to breathe. Ready for this? Do you know what Michael Valva, the officer, said when he was told that Thomas was dead? Wait for it. He said, I've been through more stressful things than this. Really? You have? Because you're about to go through something even more stressful. Because when the prisoners find out that not only are you a corrections officer, but you hurt a child? He needs a boyfriend. Actually, he needs a team of them. I never thought I'd say that, but I did. Okay, so I'm just going to look at this. Black Rose said, they're overworked. There should hire more employees. These kids be top priority. And here's the thing, Black Rose, and I get that, and I'm glad you said that. Because a couple things I want to say about that. Yeah, I know he did say that, Tracy. As human beings, how much are we going to rely on this effing system? Okay, because this system has not done very well by us. Okay, so I don't want to give them any more power. I really feel like at what point do we say enough is enough? Not only, okay, and I get this, that these people work hard, and I want to say this in all fairness, okay, Black Rose 11, because I think you're right. I really do. And I do empathically feel for the people that take on these thankless jobs in child services. Okay, I look at, the cases are this high, right? And they can get to this many. But the thing that really gets me is that there is no central database like the, the fingerprint system we have. And this goes back to what we talked about in the Watts case, not in the Watts case, but in other cases where it's like, how come these people weren't followed? Like, how did we not? Oh, I know, it was the, I can't think of her name now, that woman and her wife, and they had adopted, they were two white women who had adopted black children, and they drove their van off the side of the road to kill everybody. And the thing I'm saying about this is that, I think it was interracial, and but the point I'm making about this is not about their situation. It's more about, I talked about that, and this was a year ago, you guys. This was, and each year we just drag on and we go, oh yeah, you know what? They're underpaid. They're really understaffed. Well, at what point does it change? Okay, I get that. But this is not something we should just say, oh yeah, they're understaffed. Poor people. I get that. And I'm not trying to blame the people that work there. I'm certainly not. What I'm trying to do is say, when do we change the rules? When do we change the rules? When do we say, just because you're a police officer doesn't mean you don't get investigated like everyone else? Why did this get swept under the rug? And it's not so much about Thomas's death. It's about, I don't want him to have died this torturous life, this torturous death, really, and torturous life, without any kind of, and I want to say, restitution. What do we do to change it? And I think that's where I'm really at, is that I'm looking at this case, and I just want to look here. I think. Okay, Humanimal said something interesting. You always do Humanimal. Okay, many I know here, and I think she's in the system, have been there too long. They don't want to leave their desks. They have twisted attitudes also. The services need a damn clean out. Either young, freshly graduated people or burnouts. See, this is the neglect in the system. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about, where, you know what, this is my own thinking. I really think you have a 3-year contract with the government, and after 3 years you get reevaluated mentally. Okay, if you are not able to do that job, you can put in for a transfer somewhere else, but you cannot stay in that job. Let me tell you something. It's kind of like air traffic controllers. They've got a limited amount of time in that job. I do not think that we should be allowing people to stay in these jobs on their cushy butt. Sorry. Because you know what happens after a while, and this is in defense of those people, I want to say this. Everyone comes in with that gusto, right? That head of steam. They come in excited. They want to change the world. And then over time, they just want to leave the room with dignity. And the more they try to help people, the worse it gets emotionally for them. And that's the thing that we have to recognize. We have to recognize that the mental health of the people doing the jobs is not good anymore. And I think that's what we're talking about. I really think we need to have, and I think this should be across the board, a national calling for mental health evaluations of people in child services. I just looked on New York State, all right, because I wanted to see, who are they hiring? What are they looking for? Most of these people that they're hiring, and this is not, again, I didn't finish college. I have a few years, but I didn't finish. So I don't think anything of people that didn't finish college or didn't go. I mean, for God's sake, there's so many billionaires that didn't go to college, that only went to high school. But the thing is, in a job like this, they need to be trained in some ways. Let me see, so many couples. Thank you, because I really think that's true, Clark. So many couples who sadly can't have children would offer love and joy and warmth. You've got these junkies breathe. Yeah. And here's the thing. I think when we look Janet just said in Sweden, spanking a child is not allowed. I told you about the story with my dad. My dad came after me to try to spank me, and I turned on him and I said, if you hit me, I am doomed for the rest of my life to find men that will beat me. My father was horrified and ran out of the room. Anyway, the point is that, Cruz Boston just said, Michael will lose his pension and go to prison. He still won't suffer enough for all that he did. I want to say that I was looking this up because I got, I keep getting nailed from people who say, why will you not label somebody a narcissist or whatever? And I said, listen, here's what I'm going to say about this guy. All right. He is one of the classic antisocial behavior that I've ever seen. I mean, this guy is just, let me see. Okay. I don't know. Read that it is a job of taking. Yeah, I think, listen, it is a terrible job. And I want to say that but here's the thing. Why is everything given to one person? Do you see, what I think is happening, and this is something, when you write for daytime television, in the old days, you didn't write the actual script. You had what they called the Bible. It was the Bible and I'm talking about soap operas. It was the Bible of the show. You would sit down and there was what was called a breakdown. So every day of the week, you had 5 writers sitting around. They were assigned one script that week. Then that breakdown, you just wrote paragraphs of what was happening. Then my breakdown went to someone who wrote the script. So it was a system like that. And the reason we've got breakdowns in these systems is because, you see, the system cannot hold what's being put on it. In other words, it's a human being. And it's gone from a team of people to 3 people to 2 people to 1 people. And what I think is really important here is, if it's not getting done, right? And I'm sure that this exists, but maybe not. You know what, like, I'm sorry, but how many of us, like, I see so many, like, I don't know, amateur investigators, just finding out information about people. People can do that for, as a volunteer in the Child Services Office. They don't actually have to even go out and do it. They can volunteer to do paperwork and have the person that they're volunteering with check it. I mean, I really think that we have to be more involved with our government and not just go, I'm going to let the government take care of me. I think we have to take more and more back. When I look at this as New York State, well, what is the state doing? Okay, what is New York State doing? They just decided to give driver's license, right, to all these people. And I'm thinking to myself, shouldn't we be taking care of the children that are being beaten and dying first? What is this? Everyone wants to be so popular, you guys, but at the end of the day, these people are overworked and they're underpaid. Yes, if you could give it a thumbs up, and also, hey, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing some fun updates to the channel. I'm going to be doing much more streamlined with true crime. Let's see. I couldn't be a labor and delivery nurse. I would be judgy when that beautiful sweet baby went home with people who weren't wonderful. Oh, Cruz Boston, you crack me up. You have to have a license to drive a car, catch a fish, get married. Oh, and they'll give licenses now in New York to anyone. But you see, the problem is that, listen, anybody can reproduce. I mean, this is, I got to tell you, now we're getting into, like, kind of Orwellian kind of conversation. But here's what I want to say about this. If we really dive under the wave together, everybody, we've been saying again and again and again that, these people are overworked and they're underpaid. What would it take for, like, a team of maybe even 3 people to go in and analyze where things are falling through the cracks and fix a system? Can I tell you something? You know what I do? I'm going to tell you what I do with my business, right? You guys are going to laugh at me, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because it really has nothing to do with that. It does, but I'm someone that works for myself, okay? And I owned a recording studio when I was in Los Angeles. I sold it. I got out of the business and I moved here. And you know what I do? I actually put up on my wall, not here, but I get, one of those big Post-it notes. I put it up on my wall, and on the left, I write down all the things I refuse to do. Like, I won't write a letter to so-and-so. I won't be uploading this. I hate doing this. Whatever it is, everything I hate to do. And then on the right side, everything I love to do. And you know what I do? That's that left side. I find people that are good at those jobs and I hire them to do it. What a novel concept. Why are we not looking at employees, even of the state, in that way? Hey, Cindy's really good at going out and talking to people and doing interviews, but she stinks at paperwork or she stinks at follow-up. Why are we not looking at the systems and see why these systems are falling down? Everybody goes, yeah, we know why. Well, if you know why aren't you changing it? And see, I never understood the way government works. This is why, I never understood, how people could sit in a seat for 20 years and kind of, not get that the system isn't working. And I'm not saying everybody, it's not across the board. That's a gross generalization here. I'm really talking about people like these people that are sitting there. I mean, I get it. I do get it. And on many levels, it's like, if you speak up, you're damned, But at some point, how do you sleep at night? I know can I be honest? I would not be able to sleep at night if that little boy his case was on my desk. And see, this is the thing. We the people, okay? Bureaucracy is it's like a log jam, because you have too many logs going down that stream. And the issue is that bureaucracy hides by piling up more rules. Instead of saying, you know, we've got like these 10 rules, and basically what we're doing is we're tying up the people trying to do these jobs, because now we've got political correctness, we've got, oh, you can't say that. And so at the end of the day, no one wants to get involved, and especially where children are concerned. You see, where children are concerned, and a dangerous guy like Michael Valva, I think he's a dangerous guy. And I know I often don't, I say I don't want to talk about, excuse me, I don't want to talk about, you know, the reason I don't talk about the narcissism, and I don't talk about autism or, you know, some of those things, is because honestly, I think sometimes we can take a label and say, oh, here's a label, and put it out here, and it doesn't affect us. Oh, that's not me. And I think what we need to do is, I think we need to really say, you know, will everybody's walking around telling me what they're resisting and what they hate and and I'm like, you know what? Why don't you write your congressman? Why don't you sit down and call the office and go, why did Thomas die? I want to know what has to change in that office. I demand to know. You know, I think that we've got to, you know, I don't know if you guys ever watched the movie Network, but it bears repeating, you know, and I agree with you, Rudy Rico, but you know what? I'm going to just say this. I want to be held accountable, because that's what makes you involved in life. I want to be accountable. You know, it's funny. It's like when I'm teaching, and I just finished teaching a course on my new book. And when I'm teaching people, I'm accountable. If you're not getting it, then I'm responsible for that. And sometimes you're not supposed to get it. So we work together and figure out what's going on. But you know, I think we have to be, in some ways, thinking evolutionary. Just because it's always been done that way. Well, that's how it is. They're always understaffed. They're always underfunded. Well, you know what? Damn it. It's time to change it, isn't it? Isn't it time that we say protective services is not working? That doesn't mean the people aren't great. That doesn't mean there aren't some fantastic people in these jobs. And I really want to say that. There are some wonderful people who are in the corrections area. There's some wonderful cops. There's some wonderful people in children's protective services. But you know what? They are drowning with the people that want to shove stuff. They used to call it the ink blotter. Remember that? They used to shove stuff under the ink blotter. And you know what? That doesn't fly anymore. You know, I really feel like we need, as civilians, I mean, you know, we sit here and don't take this the wrong way. I love talking about it, but we sit here and we talk about these crimes and go, that's not right. And it's not right. But what can we do? And I think we really need to start looking at, you know, pulling apart these systems and going, hey, you know what? There are 20 adults who, I guarantee you guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, how many of you know some really sound mind, right? Sound mind adults, grandparents, right? Who are sitting in homes, or they're at home and they've retired and they want something to do. Why can't they go in and sit there for 5 hours a week and just do some paperwork or help in the children's services? See, this is why the system is breaking down. Because the fact is, we sit back and go, well, that's government's job. No, it's our job as citizens to say, that's not working. I don't like it. And we need to come together and change it. Because you see, little children like Thomas, that is just too much of a tragedy. And, oh, Duty Ron, you're here. Yay. Oh, thank you. Yep. Okay, this is important. Duty Ron, I know you covered this case, and so I didn't cover it in that way. Let me see. School teachers all reported on paper and made 20 calls to CPS. I know for a fact that CPS hasn't been working correctly since 91. That's 28 going on 29 years as a police professional. See, this is the issue, okay? And this is what I want to say to all of you. When I teach a lot of the living intuitively stuff, The biggest thing I will say to all of you, and I say this to everybody I'm teaching, how we relate to the issue is the issue. So it's not about, and don't take this the wrong way, it's not just about Thomas dying. It's about us relating to, well, the system is a problem. The system's always been a problem. The system has been a problem forever, since it was created. And you know what? I really think that only we, the people, can change that. We need to pick up the phone and say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You know, I got to tell you, I mean, don't get me wrong, I really love talking about some of this stuff, but we need to now be proactive in a way. And I love what Rudy said. I don't know if you're still here, Rudy, but I think it's, you know, I think like people don't want to take responsibility. You know something? If you don't take responsibility, who will? You know, I feel that it's my, quote, issue that Thomas died, because, you know, I've known for a long time there's a problem with child protective services in every city. But you know what? I think we need to go to the congressman, the you know, and really, you know, I want to say, could you please stop spending billions on crap I don't care about and try to save these children's lives? This is what's important, not this other crap you're chasing. They're chasing, like, what do you call them? Tumbleweeds up a windy street. You know, I really think that the 500 million spent on all of these crazy things could have been spent to really, I think we need to have mental health tests in a lot of the child protective services offices. I think we need to have mandatory wellness checks with these people. They need to be going to some kind of counseling themselves. And here's why I say it. You know, and I'm sure Judy Ron could speak to this better than me, but, you know, if a police officer is involved in any kind of incident, right? You know, and I'm talking about a gun incident mostly, but don't they have like a certain, like, they should go talk to a therapist or the you know, the on-the-job psychiatrist, so they can at least find out if the person is mentally ready to go back to work. But you know what we've done to these people who do these jobs is we have suppressed their ability to do the work that they came to do. And this is why I'm saying, you know, if we really look at it as a thing of like, I want to free CPS to do the job they need to do. Because I'm going to tell you right now, every single person who comes to CPS at the beginning, I guarantee, I'm getting truth bumps, I say this to you, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong. Every single person has to come there because they want to help. But after a certain amount of years, you get beaten down just like an abused child. And what we're talking about is a system that is beating down people that isn't working. Now, here's the thing. It becomes Stockholm syndrome. So if you go in and you open up the can, they're going to go, no, 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 don't do that, because it'll be worse for us. Aren't you then being the abuser? Like, wait, you're being the abused, and the system becomes the abuser. And I think we're in a very, very dangerous cycle if we don't say no more. So I'm just putting this out there, and I'm not sure what the next step is, but I do feel that for me, and I want to just really say that I know, Duty Ron, I know you did some great lives about the Valva case, and I really encourage everybody, if you haven't already, go over to his channel. It's Duty, D-U-T-Y, like being on duty, Duty Ron. He is on YouTube here, and he did some great, he's a retired police detective, phenomenal man. I am honored to call him my friend, and he did some lives about the case. I really want to look at how we, the people, how we as people can say, okay, you know, what is it that we can do to change the way the world has become? Oh, Wild Beast, you are so cute. Okay, let me see. Wild Beast 1, support me. Okay. All right, dude. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. That's really appreciated. Janet just said 4 to 5 children are being killed every year by their real parent, and we are 10 million people in Sweden. If you had the same in the U.S., it had been 245 children killed every year by their real parent. Okay. as police officers in the wrong with their children or partner, it's swept under the carpet. You know, Tracy, I think that that can happen, and I really want to say it can happen because you know what happens too. I know the guy, but you know what? No, a lot of these people didn't know the guy. This is not, and you know, Duty Ron even said this. The teachers were reporting it. You know, how many times does someone have to report something and then this child dies? What's going on here? You know what? I'm really feeling like I want to get active in this. And I really feel like this needs to be brought out. And I don't know what to do about it. But, you know, I think that there are so many people. Truth bombs. Truth bombs on here. There are so many people, and somebody said it earlier. I don't know if you said it, Rudy, but I want to say that there are so many of us who would take in a child. I mean, really. You know, why are you abusing and hating this child when the reality is you don't want him? Send him to school and say, don't come back. And then have the teachers get him into some, you know, I'm just saying that there are so many of us who would really be lovely foster parents or, you know, foster a child or, you know, the thing is that, you know, I had applied. And in it, I said, well, you know, I'm going to Europe a lot. Is it okay if I bring, you know, I was looking for a, you know, I was going to foster like an 8-year-old, you know, and I says, okay, if I bring him or her with me to Europe, you know, to go on my book tours and stuff. And they were like, no, you can't leave the state or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, so it just becomes very frustrating because I think that one of the things that we do need to look at is are we running the system? Are we the people running it, or is the system running us? And you know what? The system broke. It broke a long time ago, and I think we need to look at not investigations. Okay, I'm not talking about investigations. I'm talking about rehaul. Look at it this way. How much money every year does Marriott Hotel spend to revamp a property? $10 million? How hard is it to send people in to create a report of what needs to be changed so that the system works for everyone, especially with children? So that's my new thing. And I'm just feeling that, you know, I'm just feeling that's like so important. Oh, Stephanie, you're so cute. Okay, Stephanie was just talking about my Color Street videos. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh, this is how funny is this? This month, and Color Street does a charity every month, and this month it's for developmentally, I want to say challenged people, children, and it's called Unstoppable. This is the, and these are the thumb. Isn't that cute? This is the nails for the month, and it's a nail thing that when you buy it from this company, they give $2 from every nail strip to this charity, and so I'm really into it this month. That's my thing. But Don Ron 22. I thought it was Duty Ron. Oh, is that a new one? Okay. I don't know. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. You're so cute. Yeah, it's a really neat thing. Is that a new channel for Duty Ron? I don't know. Okay. All right. So, yeah, it's a really neat company, and that's why I, you know, me and my nails, I love to sell the stuff. So that's what I do. So, and what is it? My link. My link is cutenailshop.com. cutenailshop.com. So go check that out. Okay. Anytime, honey, going to subscribe if okay. Yeah, you can subscribe. I know, Olive Joy, aren't they cute? They're so fun. Yeah, this is what it looks like. It's like this. Isn't that fun? And you know what, that was kind of like one of the big things that convinced me to, you know, get on board with this company is the hundreds of thousands of dollars they give to a different charity every month. And it's just so neat. They do a particular nail strip each month that's for a charity. And last month it was heart health. Fantastic. I know this is the yeah, it's I'm the polka dots. I know you guys are like so funny. So yeah, and what I did actually is this is a different nail strip. I just put it together with this one because I like the flowers just to mix it. And this I thought was really neat because the thumbnail is actually, the idea of these means all of these, it's all of these causes coming together. And I'm wondering, what it would be for, isn't it cool, Stephanie? I know, I'm getting truth bumps. I know. What's Easter eggs? Let's see. Oops, sorry, Sandra, I don't know why you were hidden, but maybe you said something. Let's see. The thing is, how can the public help these children if we're reporting gets ignored? Okay, Tracy, I'm glad. Tracy Marsh just said that. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, label of the day. So here's what I'm going to say about that. Here's how you get involved, okay? Because I think this is one of the biggest things we have to look at as a community, right? Is that, you know, we look at this and we know people are ignored when they report it. But you know what can't be ignored is really, in my opinion, is a movement to really unite Child Protective Services nationally. Because as I told you in another video, as we mentioned, state by state, the Child Protective Services don't talk to each other. Now we have the FBI for, you know, interstate problems. We have, and we have, you know, different states have their specific version of the FBI, if you will. We've got local police, we've got sheriffs. Why is there not a central Child Protective Services organization that really takes on the, you know, the reporting and the testing of every single municipality that does Child Protective Services? And I think it needs to become, you know, start with the state. But I wonder, you know, and listen, some of you are a lot smarter with me on this. I wonder if it's just a question of, like, look, how do we do it, and start asking the question. I'm going to say this to all of you, and I want to wrap up in a minute. But one of the things I want to say about this, which I think is super important, is that we never get an answer by saying, and bear with me, by saying, well, I don't know what to do. We get an answer by saying, I don't know what to do, and staying in that discomfort. You know, I love that about the movie Network, when he got up and he said, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And I think, how many more Thomas Valvas do we need? How many more of these children are going to school in soaked urine that teachers report and they report and they report? And you know what? There is nothing happening because we don't have in place anything to help these children. And I think that, you know, there's got to be something that can really come in and look at a standard on what, is there one that's working state by state, okay? And I don't know, is there a Child Protective Service somewhere in our country, in America, that is working, or anywhere else in the world? Is there a system that works where these children get caught right away in the system and they get pulled out? You know, they get pulled out before it's too late. And I wonder if that isn't something that we need to take very seriously, where, you know, is there something working, and model that. You know, when I started, you know, when you start a YouTube channel, when you start a business, you look at who's doing what you do successfully, right? So, you know, and I just want to say that, I know. Let me just see. Thank you so much, Black Rose 11. What was I right about? I know she said something. On the flip side, CPS takes way too many children away from good parent redeemable homes. Yeah, and you know what, Polly? I think that Polly's Cookies said that. I don't disagree with you. I think the thing is that there's got to be a way to funnel that very quickly, where, you know, then those children who get taken away, they don't sit in in detention for 6 months like a lot of those people do. There's got to be a way to make it work, so that people together can, you know, there's got to be some kind of civilian task force. I'm gonna tell you something. I can sit down in 10 minutes. I know a lot of you can. If you're a sober alcoholic, you can sit in 10 minutes and oftentimes go, You know, you can hear what people are saying. You can hear what they're doing. And, you know, I just feel like there's got to be more stops in that system before, as you said, children are being taken out of perfectly good homes, But why was this child, who everybody knew about, ignored? And I think, Mayor de Blasio said, oh, that guy needs to roast in hell. And I'm thinking to myself, you need to roast in hell. What are you doing about a system that really let this kid slide under the wire? So anyway, this is, if you get a chance, everybody, I would really appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up. Please recommend the channel to your friends. I am really saying I really respect people that do that job. I am not trying to disrespect them. I think that they need a lot of support, and I don't think the government's giving it to them. And what can we do to support it? And I'm not sure yet. I may come up with some ideas. I know for me, I'm going to call my congressperson. I'm going to find out what's going on here, because I think that's the thing, is that, as it says in the Bible, let it begin with me. I think that we each have to take personal responsibility for what we can and can't stand. And I'm at Truth Bumps. I'm going to say to you, my motto has always been, if I can save one person or help one person with the work I do, then it's been worth it. And when I spent every penny I had to put out my first deck, and people told me I was crazy and I was broke, and ultimately it has sold over 100,000 copies in 9 countries. And I get letters from people that say, thank God, I changed my life, and I feel that was my thing. And so I say this to you because, you know what? I want to say that every one of us has within us the greatness that can change things. And we don't have to give away those ideas and that power to somebody else. We just have to think about what you can and can't do. I don't know how to break into this, but I can certainly ask people. So I think that's really important. Let's see, even if it only matters to me. Oh, that's great. Cruz Boston said, yes, Tori, I love that starfish poem. Even if it only matters to me, it's worth it. Because you know what I often said when I was dealing with a lot of abuse in my family. I remember sitting as a kid and thinking, someday somebody's going to relate to me. And someday I'm going to be able to share this with somebody and let them know they're not alone. And I think that that's the greatest gift, and the sadness that I feel over those children feeling so alone. And the blessings of those teachers to try to help them. It's just, I probably would have gotten fired if it was me as a teacher. I probably would have stolen the children. Just, that's me. I get too involved. But let me just say, Blue Flame, good to see you. Hey. So thank you, Tracy. And anybody new on the channel, I just want to welcome you. Indigo Ken 33, awesome. You just recently purchased the chakra deck. Which one, Indigo 33 Ken? Did you do this one, the new one, or did you do, I don't even know what language this is. I've been pulling these out in different languages. This is the Spanish version, but which one? And by the way, that is something I am going to do, just so you all know. I am going to, I'm in the beginning stages of planning, moving all of my chakra, tarot, all of that work to a new Living Intuitively channel, so that I can do my true crime here and be focused on that. Humanimal, it said, she wrote, people can't easily put themselves on the line these days. And I want to say, it's never easy to put yourself on the line. It's never been easy. You know what? It's not just these days. What do you think it was like in Nazi Germany? What do you think it was like in when you had to deal with Mussolini and the fascist movement? The fascists came in to get rid of the liberals, because they felt the liberals were too weak and couldn't stand up, and then they fell apart. So there's so many things in history that everybody was afraid, and that's the thing I want to say to you. We're all afraid of something, but the reality is all we need as a community is one brave person in every area. So maybe I'm brave about speaking up, and maybe you're brave about, helping in a different way. And you know what? Being brave or courageous doesn't mean you really feel it. It just means you do it, So I just want to say that, and I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I know, exactly. Duty Ron. Oh, Dookie 4000, welcome. Any friend of Duty Ron, friend of mine. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here, Duty Ron. It's so great. Because there's and Humanimal said there's a fine line to survive and people make self-preservation decisions. I agree. There should not be repercussions for protecting a child. You know, I have to say that I think that there are. And I think that that's the system we live in at this time. But I do think we can help. Yeah, if you would, everybody, please hit the thumbs up. It does help the algorithms. Please tell your friends about the channel. Share the videos. It does help. What did Linda say? Let's see. The poor boy, so heartbreaking. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. But Linda Ball said that, and I've got to tell you, that is so true, Linda. And it is heartbreaking, completely heartbreaking. And all I can say is that, you know, we can, and this is what, remember I talked about this a long time, let's not let, let us not let, you know, his death not mean something, you know. And I feel that one of the blessings for me in being intuitive in a way is that every death has helped me create a reality about my life. Like even with, you know, when I look at Shanann Rushek, you know, she inspired me. And, you know, I think that, you know, when we look at these people, we will always have them with us. You know, my father used to say, and I'm going to say this because it's such a wonderful thing of like, no one dies if they are alive in your memory, if you remember them. So I want to say, in what Blue Flame Integration said, right on, when the authorities know what's going on and do nothing, it's utter failure. I think that, I think that's true. And I think I think that as a system, we need to, as part of our system, we need to get involved. And I know I'm going to get involved. I know that this one thing that Shanann gave me was an ability to speak up and say, no, I'm not going to let you bully anybody, you know, and also to be unafraid to like do something like Color Street that I enjoy. That doesn't mean anybody else has to do it. It just means I enjoy it. And so that's that. But also what Thomas is reminding me of is that I'm the adult. I'm the adult. I can do something. I can go out and find out what it's like to volunteer and help and find out about the system and learn how to change it instead of just sitting here and going, well, you know, it's too bad. Because I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person that is just telling you something and then not making it mean an ability for me to grow. And that person's life means something to me. It does. And all of you mean something to me as well. And I want to just send you lots of blessings. As I mentioned, go to Duty Ron, Dutyrron, on YouTube. He has fabulous coverage of this case. And like I said, he did more of the, you know, the police officer perspective, and he's just brilliant guy. I highly recommend him. I really want to give a very special hug and shout out to my mods. Obviously, Duty Ron, Cruz Boston, Stephanie, I always want to say Stefani, and I know she's gone, but Black Rose 11. And you know what? It's the old cliche, Tracy. Cowards die 1,000 times. The valiant die but once. And this man, this Michael Nobody, he is going to die 1,000 deaths, and he will continue to die that way. Love you, Duty Ron, everybody. Thank you so much. Much love to all of you. I know he, and as Duty Ron does, a little heart. Thank you for being with me this afternoon and evening, and I look forward to the next one. Thanks for being here today, everyone. Much love. Bye for now. And remember, say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean, and be kind to each other. Be kind. Bye for now.